Ever wondered why the terms left wing and right wing are thrown around so much in politics? What do they really mean? Well, buckle up because we are about to take a fascinating journey into the world of political ideologies. Our journey starts in the late 18th century, during the French Revolution. Picture this: a room filled with political representatives, all debating the future of France. To the president's left sat those who championed radical change, longing for a society free from the shackles of monarchy and aristocracy. They were the original left-wingers, the revolutionaries. To the president's right sat those who favored the status quo, the preservation of the monarchy, and a gradual approach to change. These were the original right-wingers, the conservatives. Fast forward to today, and these terms have traveled far beyond that French assembly room, permeating political discourse worldwide. But what do they signify in our contemporary political landscape? To put it simply, left-wing politics generally advocate for social equality, often pushing for systemic changes that challenge the status quo. They tend to favor government intervention in the economy to ensure fairness and equality. This could involve policies aimed at reducing income inequality or providing a social safety net for the most vulnerable in society. On the other hand, right-wing politics typically emphasize tradition, limited government, and individual freedom, particularly in economic affairs. This could manifest in policies favoring deregulation, lower taxes, and free market capitalism. Of course, these are broad brush strokes. The political spectrum is more of a smorgasbord than a strict dichotomy, with many shades of left and right, and a whole lot of space for those who find themselves somewhere in the middle. But that's a topic for another scene. For now, let's just say that politics, like life, is rarely black and white. It's a spectrum, characterized by a diversity of opinions, beliefs, and ideologies. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer understanding of these political terms and what they represent, so stay tuned as we delve deeper into the intriguing world of left-wing and right-wing politics. First, let's delve into the world of left-wing politics. What does it stand for? At its core, left-wing politics champions the principles of social equality and extensive state intervention. It's an ideology that sees society as a collective, where everyone should have equal access to opportunities and resources. It's like a big potluck dinner, where everyone brings a dish to share, and everyone gets to eat regardless of what they could or couldn't bring. One of the key principles of left-wing politics is the belief in a robust welfare state. This is the idea that the government has a responsibility to provide for the basic needs of its citizens, especially those who are most vulnerable. It's like a safety net, ensuring that no one falls too far, whether due to unemployment, illness, or old age. Another cornerstone of left-wing politics is labor rights. This centers on the belief that workers should have a say in their working conditions, fair wages, and job security. It's the belief that the people who put in the sweat and toil should reap the benefits and not be exploited. Now, the practice of left-wing politics can vary greatly depending on where in the world you are. In some parts of Europe, for example, left-wing parties have a long history of being in power, and have shaped policies and systems that strongly reflect these principles. In other regions, left-wing politics may be more of a fringe movement, pushing against the status quo. It's also worth noting that left-wing politics is not without its critics. Some argue that too much state intervention can stifle personal freedoms and economic growth. Others worry about the financial sustainability of a robust welfare state. However, proponents of left-wing politics argue that these critiques miss the point. For them, it's not about stifling freedom or growth, but about ensuring that everyone has a fair shot at success, and that no one is left behind. Left-wing politics, therefore, is about advocating for social equality and extensive state intervention. It's a vision of a society where the playing field is level, where everyone gets a fair share of the pie, and where no one is left to fall through the cracks. Now, let's switch gears and explore the realm of right-wing politics. What are its core beliefs? Welcome to the world of right-wing politics, where individual freedom, economic liberalism, and traditional values reign supreme. The right-wing political spectrum is broad and diverse, with ideologies ranging from conservative to libertarian. At the heart of right-wing politics lies the belief in free market capitalism. This economic system advocates for minimal state intervention, allowing businesses and individuals to operate freely. Supporters of free market capitalism argue that it fosters innovation and economic growth, with competition serving as the driving force behind progress. Another cornerstone of right-wing politics is the principle of limited government intervention. Right-wingers often advocate for reduced state control, arguing that an overbearing government stifles individual freedom and hampers economic growth. They champion the idea that the government's role should be limited to providing security, enforcing laws, and maintaining public order. Right-wing politics also places a high value on traditional values and norms. This often translates into support for the family unit, religious faith, and national pride. Right-wingers usually resist radical changes and instead advocate for gradual reform, preserving what they believe to be the foundations of society. However, it's important to note that right-wing politics can vary greatly across different countries and cultures. For instance, right-wing politics in the United States is often associated with conservatism and libertarianism, emphasizing free market capitalism and individual liberties. In contrast, right-wing politics in some European countries may lean more towards nationalism and protectionism. It's also worth mentioning that despite these shared principles, right-wing politics is not a monolith. There's a wide spectrum of beliefs within this political orientation, from moderate conservatives who favor a balance between change and tradition, to far-right groups that advocate for radical societal transformation. In summary, right-wing politics champions the principles of free market capitalism, limited government intervention, and respect for traditional values. It's a diverse and multifaceted political orientation, with different interpretations and implementations across the globe. Right-wing politics, in essence, promotes individual freedom, limited government, and traditional values. Now that we've unpacked both sides, let's compare the two. What sets them apart? Dive in with me as we navigate the choppy waters of political ideologies. At the heart of left-wing politics, there's a strong belief in equality. They favor social justice, equal opportunity, and wealth redistribution. Their economic approach often involves government regulation and intervention to address social inequalities. On the flip side, right-wing politics champions the cause of individualism and personal freedom. They advocate for limited government intervention, free market capitalism, and traditional values. In their view, the government's role is to ensure law and order, leaving the economy and social issues largely to individuals and their communities. Now let's talk social issues. While the left wing tends to support progressive reforms and changes in societal norms, the right wing often upholds conservative values, preserving traditions and established norms. When it comes to governance, the left wing generally supports a larger, more active government that works to promote social welfare. In contrast, the right wing favors a smaller government that focuses primarily on maintaining law, order, and national security. In essence, the left wing and right wing represent differing views on the role of the government, the economy, and societal values. While they may seem diametrically opposed, it's crucial to remember that both sides are driven by a shared goal: to create what they believe is the best possible society. While they may seem at odds, remember that both sides aim to create what they believe is the best society. So, left wing versus right wing, two sides of the political spectrum with distinct views and ideologies. We've delved into both, highlighting their key characteristics and differences. Remember, neither side is inherently right or wrong. It's all about perspective, context, and personal values. So think critically about these ideologies and their implications. Political knowledge is power, and understanding these terms helps you engage more effectively in political discourse. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged. Formed.